What's up everybody, Cloudy Haze back for another video. This video will be about rare mounts that you can farm daily, as well as a few mounts that are 100% guaranteed drop rates. Let's jump right into it. First off, we have the Deathchargers Reigns, one of the most farmed mounts in WoW history. This mount can be found in Stratholme in the Eastern Plaguelands, just to the right of the Undercity. There is a portal to the Undercity in Orgrimmar located where the Zeppelin is that takes you to the Undercity. Once you get to the Plaguelands, head to the Stratholme dungeon, but the fastest way inside of the dungeon is to head to the Eastgate wall entrance as you can see here on the map. Once inside, you'll need to clear all the bosses and then kill the last boss, Arius Rivendare. This mount is roughly a 1% drop chance, but you can farm him 10 times per hour. One thing to note is don't worry about the difficulty, as you can only run this on normal anyways. Next we have the Armani Battle Bear, which drops inside of heroic Zulian, located in the Ghostlands just north of the Eastern Plaguelands. Make sure it's set to heroic before entering. This is a timed event. You have 20 minutes to kill 4 bosses, but this should be very easy to accomplish. This mount is a 100% guaranteed drop rate, as long as you kill it within the time limits. Head inside, speak to Zulian, and then ring the gong at the same time as Zulian. It can be a little weird ringing the gong, as you have to hit it at the same time as him, so just spam it and it'll eventually work. Once you get to Halazi and you killed him, you'll want to click the cage and free the prisoner. The prisoner will go around destroying the vases. In the third vase, you will find your mount inside of a treasure bag, assuming you've done it within the time limits. Next up, we have the Reigns of the Vitreous Proto-Drake on a 1% drop chance. This drops from heroic and normal. You can farm this mount 10 times per hour as long as it's set to normal mode. Heroic mode has a longer reset time. This mount is located inside of the Stone Core dungeon in Cataclysm. You can find a portal to Cataclysm inside of Orgrimmar, as you see here on the map. Take the portal to Cataclysm, and once you're inside the portal, take a left and fly up, and you'll see the dungeon on your map. This mount drops from the second boss in the dungeon called Slabhide. Everything dies in one hit, so it's a very fast farm. Next, we have the Drake of the Northwind, located inside of the Vortex Pinnacle dungeon in Uldum. You can get to Uldum by taking a portal from Orgrimmar, as you see here in the video. Once you take the portal, just fly over to Vortex Pinnacle. The mount comes from the second boss, Altarius. You can just run in and kill him, jump off the edge and be ported to the front of the dungeon and reset, as you can farm this dungeon 10 times per hour for the mount. Just make sure it's in normal mode if you're planning to farm it over and over. If you're just going to kill him once, you can do it on heroic, but the drop chance difference is only 0.01% difference. Next up, we have 2 mounts in the same dungeon. First up is the Swift Zulian Panther, located inside of heroic Zul'Gurub in Stranglethorn Jungle. You can take the Zeppelin from Orgrimmar to get to the Stranglethorn Jungle no problem. This mount is roughly at a 1% drop chance, and comes from the boss High Priestess Kilnara, which you can find on the north side of the dungeon. Just work your way down to the bottom layer of the temple to find her. Then, in the same dungeon, you can also get the armored Razzashi Raptor, also on a 1% drop chance, which drops from Bloodlord Mandakir, which you'll find him on the southeast side of the dungeon. One thing to note, you don't have to kill the prior bosses to kill these 2 bosses. You can head straight to them and get your shot at your mount. These 2 mounts you can only farm once per day, as the instance is on a daily reset. Next up, we have the Reigns of the Ravenlord mount on a 1.6% drop chance. This mount drops from Anzo inside of heroic Sethic Halls in Terakar Forest in the Outlands. In the basement of the portal room in Orgrimmar, you can find a portal that goes to Shatrath. Take the portal and then fly over to Terakar Forest and head to Sethic Halls. Make sure it's set to heroic difficulty, as the boss that drops the mount only spawns in heroic. The second boss in the dungeon is the boss that drops the mount, and something to note, you can only farm this once per day, per character. Next mount on the list is the Swift White Hawkstrider, which has a 4% drop chance. This mount is located in the Magister's Terrace dungeon, which is located on the Isle of Quel'Danas. You can easily get here just by simply taking a portal from Shatrath. This mount drops from the last boss in the dungeon, Kael'thas Sunstrider. Once inside of Magister's Terrace, you will need to clear all the bosses in order to kill Kael'thas. One good tip to save time is to walk around the big trash pack near Kael'thas and head straight to him to ignore his RP. This will save you about 30 seconds. Next, we have the Reigns of the Blue Proto-Drake mount on a 1% drop chance. This mount will be found at Utgard Keep, which is in Howling Ford inside of Northrend. On the north side, you will find the entrance to Utgard Pinnacle. This mount drops from the third boss within Utgard Pinnacle, and the name of the boss is Scotty the Ruthless. You don't need to kill the first 2 bosses, you can just walk by and kill the third boss for your chance at the Blue Drake. Once you get to the boss, kill the adds near the boss, and they will drop harpoons. You'll need 3 of these to bring down the boss. You can farm this mount once per day. Next, we have the Reigns of the Bronze Drake, located in Culling of Stratholme, which you will find inside the Caverns of Time. In the basement of the Orgrimmar portal room, you will find a portal to the Caverns of Time. Head to the Culling of Stratholme dungeon. Make sure it's set to heroic. Once you're inside the dungeon, you will need to do the first quest and then head to Arthas. Follow along with the RP and go around killing adds around the city. Press your map to see the white flag telling you where to go next. After that, follow Arthas and kill all 4 bosses. Then head back to Market's Row and you will see an infinite dragon attacking a bronze dragon. Kill the dragon and get your mount. this is a 100% drop rate. One more thing to note, you have to clear the city and kill the 4 bosses within the 25-minute timer, or else you don't get your mount. So just make sure to keep moving and it won't be an issue, as everything dies in one hit anyways. That's it for today's video on mounts you can farm daily. I'm going to be making another video on mounts that drop from rares and other sources. The reason I didn't put the mounts in this video is because these mounts require a bit more time to find, as sometimes you have to camp a location waiting for rares to spawn or track down a certain rare, which can require a lot more time. So these are just mounts that you can get done quickly. Hope you enjoyed, guys. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.